The state of the city in past years, what we've basically done is concentrated on the influx of businesses and commercial development here in town. This year, I'd like to get a little more back to the basics. I'd like to show you out there what we're doing every day with your tax dollars as opposed to the development. It's easy to walk around town and see all the development, see the new buildings and new businesses. And my hat's off to the Berwyn Development Corporation under Executive Director Anthony Griffin, who's in the audience, because they've done a tremendous job in developing businesses in here, our town. And on the screen here, you can see many of those businesses that came in 2014, and a little preview of what might be coming up here in 2015. But today, what do your taxes pay for? There's a lot of work being done here at City Hall and in various departments throughout the city that I'd like to advise you what's going on. First of all, a brief glance at what the Berwyn Development Corporation is doing. We have new businesses. We have 49 in 2014, and we have another 20 as of May in 2015. We have increased sales tax revenue. When we took office in 2009, the sales tax were $18,750,000. That was at the bottom of the crash. When we took office, the crash started going up. We started coming up, so that now, at the end of 2014, our sales tax was over $23 million that we collected in 2014. The increased private sector dollars, investment in our TIF areas, went from 2009 of only about $7 million to 2014 over $16 million. Again, showing what the private sector out there is putting in our commercial areas. Proves to us that Berwyn is on the rise because people are willing to invest dollars in their properties. And what that tells us also, with the influx of dollars in our commercial areas, and you'll see coming up in our homes, that our property values are rising because of the amount of money that people are spending here in our community. One of our major departments is the fire department, under the direction of Chief Dennis O'Halloran. And you'll also see back there several of the commanders, Assistant Chief Sam Molinaro, Deputy Chief Greg Demetta, Chris Caniglio, Tom Hayes, and Paul Gardner, and our captain back there, Mario Manfredini, who has a little section in this you'll also see. In 2014, we had 131 fires. Non-fire medical calls, we had 920. We are one of the busiest cities in the Loyola network for ambulance calls. And our fire department does a tremendous job in responding. Our response times are still one of the best response times in the Chicagoland area, and I believe, Chief, pretty much the state. Am I correct?
Yes.
Fire prevention under the command of Mario Manfredini. Since 2013, we instituted a plan for reoccurring annual business inspections, which are performed daily. Mario has 3 firemen that operate on a part-time basis that come in off-duty that do the annual inspections. These are reoccurring and annual inspections, which we have not done in many years here, except on a sporadic basis. Mario now has that working like clockwork. Also in 2014, we tested 1,067 fire hydrants. In 2014, we had 600 new business inspections, 99 fire prevention plan reviews for new businesses, and 44 Knox box systems installed. Everybody know what a Knox box system is? No. Knox box system is a little safe at the outside of the building that the fire department has a master key that they can go in, get that master key to get into a business to put out a fire. Also, they are available for residents. The fire department can let you know you can put one on your home, especially important for senior citizens when they receive medical calls so that they don't have to break the door down to come in. Knox box system is very instrumental in getting the firemen into the buildings. We inspected every Berwyn school and brought fire awareness program to all the elementary schools. Our police department. Our police department, as you all know, if I've spoken in previous years, have always operated on a proactive status. They proactively attack crime and try and stop it before it happens. The police department is controlled by Chief Ritz, who's standing in the back there. Also, we have Commander Santangelo, Commander Simaglia, Fred Simaglia, who heads up our juvenile services, Commander O'Halloran, and we also have standing in the hallway Deputy Chief Joe Drury. I hope I didn't miss it. And we have many of our fine officers there in the back also, most of them from our TAC and our Detective Bureau. In 2014, from 2014 to today's date, our police department has received 200 honorable mentions, 1 life-saving award, and 4 medals of valor. That's a great accomplishment in a year's worth of time. The biggest being the big fire that happened over on Harlem Avenue behind Connie's Restaurant, where 4 of our officers received awards, 2 of them going into a burning building to save a woman before the firemen were able to get there. And knowing the response times, you know that they were in there quick. We have our grant-funded traffic safety missions, which have greatly reduced the number of traffic-related accidents and injuries. That occurs at least 4 times a year. Our animal control has responded to 2,170 calls in 2014. Under Frank Smagler, we've expanded our volunteers in police service program. Not only do they now go to the neighborhood watch meetings assisting, but they assist in cataloging, scanning, and preserving the police department archives, which date back to the 1920s. The neighborhood watch program has expanded. We've grown to over 110 active block captains. We have a quarterly newsletter that Frank puts out with the circulation of 5,000 copies. He also puts it out online. He also hosts community-wide meetings. The recent topic's been bullying prevention at the schools, bullying prevention for youngsters, and fire safety. The theory is that the community as a whole should be listening to these topics that Frank's bringing forward, and we rely on each alderman to have their neighborhood ward meetings where Frank will have officers there present for neighborhood complaints. The Gorham Policing Program, it's now expanded to 50 members, kids between the age of 14 and 21 who are interested in law career enforcement. That is an offshoot of the Boy Scout program. The Junior Cadet program is new. It now has 86 members. That's geared at middle school age children. Their focus is on positive relationships between the police department and the youth, and to learn the importance of community service. Along those lines, we instituted under Chief Ritz the School Resource Officer. That program is active at the Rowan Elementary and middle schools. They have provided over 332 presentations in 2014, and they participated in over 83 community events. We now have a new Citizen Alert program. On the slide, you'll see the information where you can get the Citizen Alert program. You can now tailor it to what you want to hear. You can choose the info that you receive, whether it's community alerts, severe weather, missing persons, or the entire gambit. Right now, the resident chooses how to receive that info, also by either text, email, or cell phone, etc. Very few landlines nowadays. For those of you that have landlines, we can still do that. But you must register. Please register on our website to receive those notifications. Our building department, under Director Chuck Lazzara, sitting out here along with his staff, have been very active over the last year. Repairs here at city buildings, right now, he's put a new efficient boiler here at City Hall. We have new front steps, which I think most people saw at the rededication of this building. Transfer tax revenues. They've been very busy down there. Home sales have really cropped up here at Berwyn. We had $1,630,916 collected in transfer tax revenue in 2013. In 2014, that jumped to $1,944,570. Those of you that have been around in the old days before the crash know that that line item in our budget was always budgeted at $2 million or more. For the last 9 years, we we haven't been able to budget that. You see now that it's cropping up. And believe it or not, the revenues that we collected in 2014 were on less sales than in 2013, showing you that the prices are rising here in Berwyn. As a matter of fact, the median sale price in Berwyn is up 12.4% since 1 year ago. The increase in property value is reflected in the increased number of building permits also pulled by residents who are improving their properties. Permits increased from 4,080 permits in 2013 to 4,203 permits in 2014. The total improvement dollars spent is $27 million in 2013, $43 million in 2014. That's what you, the residents, are putting in your properties to improve your properties, to maintain your properties, which raises all of our property values here in the community. The fees collected from those permits rose from $338,000, $397, $338,000, $397 between 2013 and 14. That was the increase. Light violations have actually gone down. Light violations have gone down from 447 violations in 2013 to 352 in 14. And that's because of the rigorous program that's been instituted over the last 4 years. One of our really super blight inspectors is sitting in that front row, and they can tell you how many tickets they have written over the years so that people are taking care of their properties. We don't need to cite them. Our theory has always been, we're citing people to warn them, fix your properties. We're not interested in collecting your money. We want your properties maintained. And the people are reacting. We've issued less tickets because people are reacting. In 2014, the building department began a summer blight program, hiring local youth to make residents aware of blight issues that needed addressing. That was made possible through an IDA grant secured by the city's administration staff. We have some carryover from that we are able to employ a handful of youth again this summer. They were not issuing tickets. They were going out giving warnings, telling people you need to correct this. That also occurs at our CDBG office, which I'll bring up. They also give warnings. A lot of people think they're getting violations. They're not. We're just telling people these are things that you need to fix up, you need to maintain, and there are dollars available to help you with CDBG. This allows our residents to fix their problems, keep them from receiving blight tickets, and results in increased property values and more beautiful neighborhoods. The library as always is doing a tremendous job. Right now, we have an interim director, and she's taken over from Tammy, and she is keeping up the programs that Tammy had and carrying them even further. The board's now conducting a national search for a new director. Building renovations to the library are going to be coming up sometime this year also. There were plans that were prepared in previous years to renovate that building. Those should be coming to fruition sometime during 2015. The library is continuously working with the schools with programs aimed at increasing literacy throughout Berwyn's youth. We've expanded the e-books to include youth books, and the strong programming continues targeting all Berwyn residents with book clubs, reading programs, writers groups, and activities for all, and especially adult learning. Our recreation department. Our recreation department maintains a sports program. Youth basketball, they have over 600 players and 50 teams. Men's basketball, over 20 teams. Soccer, over 1,000 players. Baseball, over 500 players since the rec took over for the boys' baseball in Berwyn. And the youth programs, they have seasonal parties for youths. After-school camp has an average of about 100 children. Summer camp has an average of about 200 children. And we hire seasonally local youth to serve as counselors, lifeguards, and maintenance crews. We maintain in the city the only outdoor public swimming pool, which offers swimming classes, open swim to all residents, and free swimming for Berwyn seniors. The senior programming with the rec department includes free luncheons every month through May. They break for the summer and then we start again in the fall. Free swimming, senior bingo, a care and share adult group, and an expanding senior club with over 300 seniors. By the slide, you see that the rec department collaborates with numerous athletic and community groups throughout the area. They all work together to provide activities throughout our community for our community residents. The senior services program. We transport in our senior bus program 663 seniors a year. The lawn service program provides household lawn mowing for 228 households. Snow removal, 269 households. A handyman service provides handyman services for 239 households. The IT department, under the direction of Director Jim Frank and his staff, have leaps and bounds above other cities. We now have free Wi-Fi in City Hall and in the library. We now also have a mobile app. If you have an iPhone or an Android, from the App Store, Jim, is that an easy download? Is it a cost?
It's free.
It's a free download for a mobile app, so you can get all the information from the city. Our website has all the information you need to access your phone to get those, to download those apps. Instituted last year and expanded this year is online payments for water, for bills, for vehicle tags. To date, Jim, the vehicle tag starting May 15th, approximately how many people have already applied online for
I
vehicle
think
tags?
today we're over 700.
Over 700 people. We've eliminated the service fees. At one time, Visa we could not take Visa because they would not allow us to charge a service fee. Now we have Visa because we've eliminated all service fees. The city is eating those dollars. It's your tax dollars eating those dollars, but we think it's a convenience for our residents to be able to go online and use 4 major credit cards to pay for the services. It also reduces the line here at City Hall. And I know many of you remember the lines that we used to have. Jeanette, are the lines anything like they used to be? I know Jeanette's here.
As of today, no.
Okay. CDBG. And this is a combined slide with our Public Works Department because they work very well together. But two of the programs CDBG does have is the NSP homes. That was the Neighborhood Stabilization Plan, which was federal money that we got to purchase foreclosed and abandoned homes and put them back in the market. We purchased approximately 32 homes. Out of that, we only have 6 remaining. We're working with IDA to have one of those 6 remaining homes donated to a disabled veteran here in the community. Single-family rehab program. In 2014, the CDBG office dispersed $250,000 in the single rehab program. That's the program I told you. When you get one of the warnings from CDBG, it's income-based. If you qualify, you can get money to fix up your gutters, your roof, your home. And it's an interest-free loan, Regina?
Yes.
The director of CDBG, Regina Mendocino. It's an interest-free loan, and it's not paid back until you sell your home or transfers. It improves and increases your home value as well as the community. It beautifies the neighborhood, and it assists mainly seniors, but anybody in that income bracket, the low to moderate income bracket, to maintain their homes. The CDBG office has received and managed $1 million between 2013 and 14 for our own public works and infrastructure projects. Public Works, under the direction of Bob Schiller, our Public Works Director, and our Senior Engineer, Nicole Campbell, they've installed over 600 feet of 12-inch water main on the 2200 block of Old Park Avenue. They have secured $1.2 million in grant funds for citywide sewer improvements. We recently purchased our own Vector truck out of our budget, which will reduce the cost to the city to clean the sewers. But they have televised and cleaned over 3 miles of sewers. We hope to do a lot more with our own Vector now and spare us some of the costs of hiring contractors. This year we will be replacing 350 streetlights with LED streetlights, funded mostly through CDBG monies. We've collaborated with the CDBG in cost-shared sidewalk program. We see a lot of that going on now. We had to dispense with our program in 2014 because of the unavailability of concrete. That now has been completed. We have started our 2015. Is that correct, Bob?
That is correct.
Trees. For the first time, we did a tree inventory here in the city of Berwyn by a licensed certified arborist using $20,000 security grant monies. In 2014, unfortunately, we had to remove 425 diseased trees here in Berwyn. But we've trimmed over 400 trees. We are going to be doing a new generator at the pumping station. I'm going to let my city administrator, Brian Paps, speak of that because he is mainly handling that project. Brian?
Of all the public works projects that the mayor mentioned, one of many that the director of public works, Bob Schiller, and myself have been working on is developing a RFP, request for proposal, to go out to bid for a generator at our north side power station. Basically what had happened was we experienced a power outage for a long duration, knocking out the power on the north side pumping station. Thereby, the pumping station could not fill the tower back with water. We were getting at a dangerously low level. Luckily, the electricity came back on in time to fill the tower, but we realized at that time we should get a generator for that pumping station to avoid any future potential problems and thereby not be able to fight fires properly. We're going to be going out for a design build project, which will be on our website starting probably tomorrow, and securing bids for that project, and hopefully we'll have it working in the next couple of months.
Okay, thank you, Robert. We've also instituted for the first time the residential flood mitigation program. Every one of us here in Berwyn has had some problem with flooding with the storms in 2010 and the following year. So we have the first of its kind. It's being administered by Nicole Campbell, our senior engineer in her department. And what it is, it provides financial assistance up to 50%, not to exceed $3,500, to install systems that protect your homes from sewer backup during storms. It's not a cure-all, but it will help you in your homes. That can go towards check valves, overhead sewers, and anybody's eligible to contact Nicole Campbell down in the engineering department, and she can advise you of the program and what the qualifications are. She's also been able to get us green infrastructure improvements through grant monies. She has secured $2.4 million in grants for green alleys. She's coordinating the free rain barrel program with MWRD. And for those of you that are aware of the rain barrel program or not, there are brochures out in the hallway. MWRD is going to be removing some of the restrictions that they previously had to get a rain barrel. They said at one point you had to disconnect all your downspouts. They're removing that restriction. Are there others, Nicole?
Yeah, your downspouts have to be connected to qualify for free rain barrel. You can keep them disconnected, but they are proposing changes to the program tonight.
To make it a little easier for residents to get the rain barrels. So definitely look into that with Nicole Campbell. We're working with developers, or she's working with developers that are rehabbing or constructing new commercial buildings. And when we do that, and I don't know if you've spoken to our Public Works Director, Bob Schiller, but sometimes we call him Captain Happy here in town. And he is strongly encouraging those developments to include underground water detention. That helps us reduce the potential for flooding in our communities. Our finance department, Mr. Rashid Jones. Where's Rashid? Rashid Jones is our finance director, along with assistant finance director Ben Desch, and a very qualified staff. For the 6th straight year, our finance department has received a certificate of achievement from the GFOA for excellence in financial reporting. They have updated our collection system to allow the customers to make utility bill and vehicle sticker payments online, again with no related fees. They work with our IT department on that. They have maintained for the city an investment grade A stable rating with Standard & Poor's for the third straight year. We have met in this city the required pension funding, unlike the state and communities around us, through wise bonding procedures and cooperation with our pension funds from both the police and fire departments. We worked 2 long years to get that in place, and we are now in our 2nd year of that funding. One of the side notes that has added revenue to the city of Berwyn, which not everybody is in favor of, but we believe that it's done a good benefit here in the community, is the gaming machines that the state law passed. In 2014, from our licensing alone, since we are a home rule unit, we can charge $1,000 a machine for licensing. We collected $181,000 just for licensing. Our share, our percentage of the state share from the actual machines is $263,000 from 2014. As of May 20th, 2015, we have 191 machines, which would mean $191,000 in licensing, and to date, we've collected $120,000 from our percentage share from the state. And contrary to beliefs in some communities about the gaming machines, we have not experienced one problem in any of our establishments with gaming machines. Our police department has not received one call of a problem. In 2014, again, thanks to the efforts of our finance department, we achieved our mandated goal of our 16% fund balance. In recent years, I spoke, Mount Berwyn has never had any reserves. Our ordinance calls for a 16% fund balance, same thing as reserves. Accountants call it fund balance now. We have achieved our 16% fund balance. We now have monies for a catastrophe here in the town that is mandated by our ordinance. We have achieved that. I want to thank all the departments and all the employees who make the city of Berwyn a better place to live by providing quality service to you, the residents. But I specifically want to thank my administrative staff, Ryan Papps, Evan Summers, Ruth Falbury, Tony Bertuca, Tony's here, I saw him somewhere, and Kelly Smaglia, because these are the dedicated staff that I have around me. And it's through their efforts that they keep me on the right path. So I have to thank them all. I hope that explains to the residents where their tax dollars are being spent. And one thing I pledged was I never wanted to cut services. I think we've expanded services. So I hope that we provided a service to you that you are deserving. I'm open for questions.